What's good? Game day, Lucky Lefty podcast, Onora Boys in the building. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey. It's OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Lucky Lefty podcast. MALIK'S, ZAIRE. SHAUN Davis. Brought by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Get at us. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram. Let us know what's up at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe. YouTube. Lucky Lefty Network. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments and questions. We respond to all. Then go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, Lucky Legends Podcast, Players Only Podcast. Down and Distance with yours truly, coming soon. Go over there, subscribe today. Audio edible each and every day, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Check us out, CFB Nation. We are the home of the misguided passion, and we are forever committed to making sure that we spin it
different.
What's good, Left? It's game day, baby.
It's here. No more running.
All questions
will be answered.
I was a little irritated last night, bro.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching BET Plus, bro. It was supposed to be like the third quarter of a blowout. That's the way I was feeling.
Oh, the Arizona-Texas game?
No, I'm just saying. Last night at about 8:45, I looked at my phone and I was like, I'm supposed to be watching Notre Dame blow these dudes out.
That's right. Yeah.
And that was a selfish thought. That was a very selfish thought in the midst of a day where, as always, we would be remiss if we did not begin today's show acknowledging the loss, the pain, with everything that took place, not only in New Orleans, Las Vegas, and just our hearts and prayers go out to all of those that were impacted. Forget football, forget sports, just the human side of it. It's tragic. I had a friend who was actually there on Bourbon Street at the time. Thank God him and his wife are safe. The young lady who just graduated from high school that just being a teenager, man, and snuck up to New Orleans with her cousins without her parents knowing, that lost her life.
Oh my gosh. Somebody, oh wow.
Is a from Mississippi. She just graduated high school. She is a family friend. And you know, when it touches you, it's one thing from a distance to have tragic events touch the world, but when it comes that close to you,
you realize how small the world is.
And you realize how insignificant some of the things that we truly give worry and fear to on a daily basis. Man, this is why I always promote love on this show, bro. Which is why I always promote love in the chat and respect, and say, regardless of whether or not we agree or disagree, everything's going to be all right as long as we love and respect each other.
Yeah.
And so God's peace to this nation, God's peace upon New Orleans, its inhabitants, and everyone that's down there now.
And the Super Bowl about to be there.
Man.
That's the biggest sporting event in the world. Man. But they also need to stop having all these events in dangerous ass cities now. I mean, come on now.
Well, I mean,
they gotta be in some of the toughest areas.
Yeah, to get to that side of it, bro, I don't, it's a lot of things tricky about everything and conspiracy theories and all of that. At the end of the day, it is an expression of evil in this world. And I am so thankful that love has the power to cast out evil, even when it manifests. And right now, you know, as a country, despite our differences, if we can just really come to understand how to truly love, what it means to live in a land like this with an abundance of opportunities, and, you know, how fortunate we are to be able to have it, live it, and then for some of us to be vessels to be able to give and pour into others. And if we can get to that point where we can have an appreciation for that and can really drop the foolish vitriol that we have towards differences, you know, is people that know we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And if we can really come to understand what that means, I think we can start making the progress, bro. I really do. I'm a believer in love, bro. I'm a believer in love in all areas of life, bro. I just really am, you know. So Lucky Lefty podcast. But yeah, I was a little irritated selfishly last night about 80-45.
Yeah, because after that Ohio State game, you like, I'm missing something.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was like, yo,
this time. It's too much time.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm like, you know what? Delayed but not denied.
Delayed but not denied.
Delayed but not denied. Ladies and gents, that's what's coming up. 3:00 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern time. Delayed but not denied.
That's a tough a time to play. 3-4 o'clock. You had sleepy.
Yes, and I understand why everyone is upset, especially people that had to get back to work after the new year. Right, most people had the new year off. It was the perfect day for everyone to watch their team in prime time. But I get it. First of all, you have to understand that nothing is more important than what's transpiring in the city of New Orleans.
Right.
And the city does not want the headache. The city wants to get Georgia and Notre Dame the hell out of their city. That's another headache. They're still looking for IEDs and everything, bro. Trying to secure the city for just everyday people that live there. Yeah. And now they have to worry about a game. That's another headache. And like you said, now they really have to prepare for the Super Bowl is on like a whole nother scale than what they're experiencing right now. Can you imagine if this had taken place during Super Bowl week?
They wouldn't move the Super Bowl though.
Man, look.
They wouldn't move the Super Bowl.
Man, let me tell you something. It is I totally understand. It is definitely an inconvenience. I get it, but it is very wise. You can talk about scheduling and making sure that these teams get back on campus as soon as they can so they can start to prepare for the next game, whomever wins this game. In the scheduling, they don't want to bump the semifinal back, and if they do, maybe it's back a day. At the end of the day, security is the most important thing, bro. And if they can end this game and get these teams, both teams, out of the city as soon as possible, the city can move on and do what they need to do, right? Because this should be the second day of healing, and they still have to put on this event. So that means they have to give resources to this event instead of all of the resources being given towards the healing and security of the city. So it is, I understand from a civic standpoint, I get it. You know, a lot of people were just looking at it from a football standpoint, but from a civic standpoint, I get it. Because as the mayor, if I were the mayor, I would want to get anybody that's not connected to New Orleans, go home. Get out of here. Because we have to get right, and then we have to prepare for something bigger.
Bigger. That's
in a month's time.
That's the sermon.
Just a month away.
That's a sermon.
It's a sermon. I might put that in my notes.
He say, This may be big, but I have to prepare for something much bigger.
Yes.
And this is big,
but
something much bigger is coming.
Yeah.
And I still got to prepare for
that. Yeah. Absolutely. Lucky Lefty podcast. So Malik's 3 Keys brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Left.
Oh, I don't know. We might have to save it for the end because I took some time with these 3 keys.
Oh, okay. So you want to do
something off the top of the head I could just rattle off. I need a little bit more time because this is a program narrative game.
Okay, you're going there with it.
This is
well,
not.
You know what? Let's go ahead and talk about what we saw yesterday. Let's do that.
First of all, Ohio State shocked me. I don't think anybody could have told you they would have saw that Ohio State.
I don't know. Let me tell you why. Ohio State, let me tell you this. Ohio State is without a doubt, no one is surprised that Ohio State is the most talented team in the world on college.
Okay, facts.
Yeah,
okay.
See, this is why I'm very interested in the Texas matchup. This is why I'm very interested. Will Howard is still Will Howard.
It's still trash, yes.
Don't get it twisted. Will Howard is very much, let me tell you what they did after that Michigan game, because it was very clear in the Michigan game that they lacked confidence in Will Howard. Otherwise, they would have been throwing the ball all over Michigan without Will Johnson at cornerback.
That's right.
They didn't trust him. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't trust him at home against an injured and wounded secondary of Michigan.
That you're supposed to beat by 20+ points, and they don't trust you at home.
Let's think about that. What did they do? Man, people are like, oh my God, they looked incredible. They have dumbed down this offense. Will Howard is literally going back and looking for 4, and if 4 is not open, I'm throwing a 2. That's it. That's all they're doing. That's all he's doing.
We're only going to send out 2 receivers at a time.
That's it. He has 4 receivers out, but that's it. You have
or then he's throwing one-on-ones to the short side to Carnell. And other than that,
I don't understand. Michigan pre-snap literally dared him to go to other receivers and dared Ohio State to run the ball.
Yeah,
we have a safety over the top of Jeremiah Smith every play.
Yeah,
double covered. Only way he's getting the ball if he's running across him underneath, and we're gonna come up and tackle that.
And it's funny because Michigan is way under talented when you're comparing rosters. They just went based on what they don't believe you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw the game. There's only 2 guys running out there. So Oregon, poo on you.
And see, we got our boy Cool Kid in the chat. It's very dumbed down. I'm gonna explain it. It's very simple, bro. Very simple. The same play that we watched a defensive back. This same play, BYU ran the same play against Colorado. Motion, slot receiver, straight down the middle. It's dude, that play is off Madden. Literally, it's one of the simplest offensive plays in the world.
Yeah.
Oregon was in cover 3. The cornerback to the field was not threatened. He was supposed to fall back.
He played too low on the tight end because it was upside.
People one-on-one. The Ohio State offense, this dude, that was.
You have 20 yards. You have 20 yards from 4 and your safety.
Thank you.
Who played it terrible, by the way. I'm like, where are you running to?
And who told Tennessee? How dumb are Tennessee and Oregon to feel like they could go man to man against Jeremiah Smith with no help? No. Did you not watch the Michigan tape?
Yeah.
Michigan literally
showed you how to do it.
Forced them to work the ball down the field. That's it. It's not foolproof. It's the way to slow them down. Make Will Howard think because he doesn't want to think.
No.
He wants to drop back and go to 4 or 2. That's what he wants to do. It's
easy. both Ohio State and Texas are not committed to running the football, which is why I think that this is
that's the craziest thing in the world, dude.
It is.
But I'm not mad because yesterday, as terrible and undisciplined as the pass coverage was for Oregon, and
it was atrocious.
As dumb as the approach was, if I were Ryan Day, I wouldn't throw the ball either. For what?
Yeah.
For what?
For what?
So when I say dumb down, I'm not calling Will Howard dumb. They're giving him stuff that they trust him with. They're not giving him exotic stuff. They're not giving him the same stuff that they were giving CJ Stroud. That's not what they're doing. They're literally saying we're going to motion to this. If this is the coverage, throw that ball. That's it. That's all he did. BYU ran the same play, and what happened? Colorado picked it off. Because the defensive back knew I'm not threatened. If I drop back, I'm going to pick this off because the quarterback is not going to see me. And if that defensive back had done his job, he would have picked that ball off as well. It's very simple, bro. It's just that Michigan played disciplined football in the secondary without the best defensive back in the nation. All they did, but they didn't do anything but beat them up front. It helps to have the two defensive tackles that they do have. If you have two of those monsters, which Oregon didn't have, and there you go. It goes hand in hand. You have to be able to pressure the quarterback, keep the safeties over the top, and make them play in front of you. That's the only way you can stop Ohio State.
Right now.
It's to frustrate.
Ohio State doesn't even run. They don't even commit to run enough for you to change anything outside of guarding number 4.
That's it. That's all they do. Now, see,
they only run the ball and scare you a little bit, then they go back.
This is the trap. Muhammad and Barron are two elite cornerbacks. If Pete Kwiatkowski falls into the trap of believing, man, I'm going to trust Barron play after play to take Jeremiah Smith man to man, he's stupid. He's very dumb. He's very dumb. Now, and Barron, I understand he's an award winner.
Who, number 7?
Round pick,
I don't
round pick, all of that. All I'm saying, you don't look, man. Look, I would hope that if Notre Dame has to face them, Algo, I know you like the man, be you, but you better make sure pre-snap, you better make sure it's a look of a safety over the top of that monster.
But also, Oregon didn't do a good job of making Will Howard run around in the pocket either.
But they don't have to. Someone in the chat said Oregon led the Big Ten in sacks.
It didn't show up.
It didn't show up yesterday.
It didn't show whatever.
It didn't show up yesterday. And shout out to, I forget the name, double R's in the chat. The offensive line coach for Ohio State. Phenomenal job. The injuries they've suffered and having to shuffle, having to move their best player.
You got to Dan Lanning. And Dan Lanning.
No. The job that their offensive line has done against Tennessee and Oregon, especially in pass pro, which was one of their weaknesses because of injuries. That's a fantastic, that offensive line coach, absolutely amazing. So Pete Kwiatkowski, look, you have one of the top 5 defensive backfields because two defensive backs, very good. Your nickel, solid. Taft can be taken advantage of and pass a little bit, but he's really smart. He's in position most of the time. And Mbuka, that kid, the transfer from Clemson, and then Moore, they got some dudes in that secondary, bro. See, that's why I love this matchup. I really do. But the
Texas secondary is nice.
I love this matchup. Let me tell you why I love this matchup. I love this matchup because Texas has the wide receivers
with Bond, Golden
to actually challenge the the secondary. But let me tell you something. When you got dudes, man, and this is why I have to give credit to the coaching staff, Ohio State. They finally woke the heck up.
Yeah.
I think they were being cute all year, and they just schematically and coaching-wise made huge mistakes, bro. Hey, man, defensively, Ohio State just said, we got dudes up front, and we got a dude on the back end. We just going to put him in the middle of the field. We putting Caleb Downs in the middle of the field. We're going to dare you to throw it over the middle, and we're going to get after you with 4.
Yeah, that front 4 got after Oregon.
Man, they got 8 dudes in the rotation up front. It's just they're playing real simple football, bro.
That's how Georgia plays. Georgia says, okay, we're going to give you these first 4 and these first 5 guys up front.
Yes.
If y'all can't handle that, we're just going to get simpler on the back end.
Yeah.
And you can't even handle up front. It's a long day for you.
Yeah. Yeah, Cool Kid is right.
Handle that the first couple drives. Okay, we're not letting them push us around in the trenches.
Yeah.
Now Kirby's got to be like, we have to adjust our defense.
Yes.
If we don't make Kirby adjust, just like Oregon never made Ohio State adjust.
Ever. You have to take. I just don't understand a quarterback like Will Howard. You cannot give him option 1 and 2 as a defensive coordinator. You cannot. Carnell Tate is going to have to beat me. If I'm not mistaken, that's just it. Carnell Tate is going to have to beat me. Brandon Ennis is going to have to beat me. G. Scott is going to have to beat me. Those are the dudes that are going to have to beat me. You're not beating me with 4, dude. This dude is not just running loose through a zone defense. Are you kidding? That's the one dude in zone that I'm identifying. They were just unprepared and just unable to put pressure on the quarterback. And they have so much talent, bro. You can't. Michigan was the only team because Michigan flat out coached Ohio State. And Ohio State, they played extra tight as that game went on. They got out coached. Jeremiah Smith was killing. That was a bad offensive pass interference call, the first matchup against Oregon. Jeremiah Smith was killing him on that last drive. He just continued what he was doing in the first matchup. That's all he was doing. But a lot of people, this Texas-Ohio State matchup, and then left. Where is the game, left? This is where you have to. Where is the game at? It's in the
game's in New Orleans.
No. It's in the Cotton Bowl in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Ohio State is going to Texas.
Yeah.
See, this is going to be, if Ohio State wins this game, they probably go ahead and win the championship. The matchup with Texas is going to be the tougher matchup. It's going to be the tougher matchup, bro. Ohio State has to go to Texas. But that Rose Bowl was about 70% red yesterday.
Yeah.
Ohio State fans
Ohio State and Alabama fans travel real well. They travel real well.
Bruh.
So it's going to be interesting. I think, like you said, man, for our game, Notre Dame Georgia game, I think it's the battle of the recruiting ideologies. The Ohio State Texas game, I think it's the battle of more so the traditional program being back. Right, I think Ryan Day has a lot to prove with his no championship self.
Yeah,
Steve Sarkisian, as much as we are excited about the game, Steve Sarkisian was running out of gas in that second half. Now I don't know what happened. Quinn Ewers wasn't putting the game away like he should.
That game was very NIU-ish though.
I know,
NIU-ish at the
and it's crazy because
especially when Quinn threw that interception, I was like, "Whoa, you got to."
And then Arizona State had the ball on the 1 2 times that they didn't score on. So it went to 2 overtimes, and Texas had stopped them on the 1 twice.
Did they outplay Texas in your opinion? Just looking at the totality,
the whole way around. It was the whole way around. I think Texas went in there and showed Arizona State, okay, there's levels to this. We're a big time countrywide recruiting program, and y'all not. That's just what it is. Y'all regional team. And then the reason why I told you this before the game when we did our last show, how out of all the teams in the bracket, Arizona State's the only one where you can actually believe they can pull an upset because they have the belief.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny because I'm watching the Scatterbo kid go lose composure, act crazy, do all of this. But when I saw him connect with the head coach, because the head coach is the same way, I said, oh, y'all gonna have to kill these dudes. Y'all gonna have to kill, because it was too many of them that was feeling disrespected. You got the quarterback talking crazy.
You got the
quarterback talking about you ain't stopping me. You got the coach like he's all for it.
Hey, Kenny Dillingham was doing an incredible job though.
Coaching, I think he was fighting for the right cause that they didn't give him.
Yes.
But if he was at a different program, they would have blew Texas out.
Did they screw them with that not calling the targeting? You feel like
I think that was a good no call just because you don't want calls like that changing the entire game.
Hey man, I'm like EA Sports. If it's in the game, it's in the game. I don't want to hear that.
But also that hit, he didn't lower his head. He just ran through him. It'd be different if he ducked. He literally just hit him face to face. So I always try to go to these rules where they said if he speared him or targeted him, okay, I get it. But he never ducked his head. He just ran right into him. And I think it was such a bang bang that the defender knew if he caught it and did anything, he was getting that first down. So I think the defender closed his eyes a little bit and said, hey, it's going to be a collision. I think that he was intending it for it to be a collision. And then when you slow-mo everything on TV, it just makes it look worse. When you slow-mo frame by frame, you're like, oh, that looks crazy. Mm-hmm. But in real time, I'm sure the refs was like, it was a football play that
they definitely had a conversation up in the booth. Like, man, do we really want to decide
turn this game over with that? Like, come on, no.
Rules are rules, though, bro.
Yeah, but you can the rules are very subjective how people go about it.
I will say this: it is the most inconsistent. There is no other rule in football that is carried out more inconsistently than targeting. It is super subjective. I don't even know if they can streamline it anymore to help out the refs, but it is, yeah, man. And for it to come up at that point, and I guess like they say in the NBA, ball don't lie, because Auburn ended up missing the field goal anyway. But yeah, I think they would have ended up, that would have given them the ball in Texas territory with about 49 seconds to go, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. So it would have been very interesting. Super chat. If you have a super chat, GTB question, put it in the chat. We're going to get to it, man. Truncated show. As you can see, I'm at the office because I had a schedule lined up thinking I was coming into the office after a Notre Dame win. And I had to meet roofers and all types of people to start off the new year here. So I'm at the office and decided to jump on with Left in between to make sure we gave you guys a good prediction show. John Massey, Lil Tunchi, thank you for the super chat. I guess Left was right. 5 lost Bama.
I be knowing it's just the timing was off.
Yeah, but they only lost 4 though.
Listen, the thing that was the outlier.
No. What is their record? Go pull up their record. What's their record, Left? So you weren't right.
They lost 2 of the last 3 games. That's what I know.
What did I tell you was going to happen?
You just said they ain't gonna lose 5. But
that's all I said.
But I also acknowledge that this season is not going to be the same for them because no Nick Saban, and that clearly was the Nick Saban effect. You're just gonna lose 3 early on.
I did not say that they wouldn't feel the effect of Nick Saban. I totally agree. You just went off the ledge when you said 5 games. I'm like, come on, man.
I don't know how much the ledge it is, but I was hot. I was over the target.
And before we get to your keys, your pre-snap read and the keys and the predictions, put your predictions in the chat as well and your GTB questions. I did see a GTB question. I'm going to get to it. And Man, dude, I was emotional yesterday. I ate too much, bro.
You ate too much.
Yeah, because I was mad.
Too much dip on your chip.
That was the selfish side of me, man. I was mad because we weren't playing.
Yeah.
So then I'm sitting there watching 2 games, bro, and I just ordered way too much food.
Did you double dash in one night?
No, it was only one dash, one Wingstop order, bro. One.
Oh, because double dash.
I got the combo, bro.
Oh, with the fries. Okay, yeah.
It came with, it was 20 boneless.
Oh, you got the family deal.
8 chicken tenders.
You was looking like the dude off the commercial.
And instead of fries, I did do one thing right. Instead of fries, I got double carrots.
But they carrots good because the ranch good. It's the ranch. The ranch make it all better.
I had the honey barbecue, the lemon pepper, the honey hot.
Oh, so you ate right.
Yeah, I ate too much though, because I was definitely emotionally eating yesterday because there was no game.
Yeah.
Did anybody else eat crazy yesterday emotionally because there was no game? I was just sitting there, dude. I was watching TV shows last night that I know I have no interest in, bro.
Oh, you scrolling. Yeah, because
I was watching Tyler Perry's Sisters last night, bro. Like, I don't watch this show. Why am I watching?
It was too much time. It was too much time.
I was watching the Chicago PD rerun. I was like, what am I doing, man? I was like, you know what? Let me go in my office and read. I was like, yo, I just had to cut it off. Let me go find a book, read.
Everything else gonna make you too mad, man. Everything else gonna make you too mad.
Man. All right. We got the pre-snap read with Malik ZAIRE, how Mike Denbrock and the Notre Dame offense will attack the Georgia defense early on. We talk about it each and every Friday before a Notre Dame game, but it's right now the day of. So that pre-snap read, Left, how is Mike Denbrock going to come at Kirby Smart's offense? Kirby Smart said he's really worried about his team tackling because they've been off. He said he's worried about his team tackling early.
I'm not worried about Georgia's team tackling. That's usually their number one strength. They bring it. So if he's concerned about it, I think that's a little gamesmanship because I think that's his way of saying you guys need to be worried if you can hang with our physicality because we done spent about 2-3 weeks off now.
Talking about physicality and tackling.
Yeah. He's like, listen, y'all need to be prepared for it. I'm worried about it for y'all. But at the same time, I think that he's definitely that's the basis of their identity is to tackle and be physical up front. I think he knows the challenge is going to be there because it's just not one guy he's got to worry about. It's not just like, oh, we got to tackle Jeremiah Smith, or, oh, we got to tackle Riley. It's like we kind of got to worry about all their run game aspects. And when you are doing that, you start thinking about tackling because it's coming from so many different places. Notre Dame's identity of running the ball is not always meaning just hand it off up the middle.
Yeah.
So you're adjusting to the different things that we do to protect and to make things unbalanced or to get your eyes for misdirection or something. And then you factor in the talent that we have on our team because that's what you see on film. You're like, oh, these are basic runs, but now it's Darian Price's turn. So he's running a different running style and he's breaking a couple tackles. He's getting big plays. Oh, you just came off of Jeremiah Love's 60-yard touchdown. How are you going to rally and come back and start tackling Aeneas in space? Different guys. Oh, don't forget about 13. It's short distance. You know he might get the ball. So these are the things that you worry about because tackling in space is huge. I think a lot about how we had to worry about tackling against Oklahoma State. Because if we don't, it becomes a 40-50 game.
Yeah.
I think that's what Kirby's most worried about is that because they are offensively hampered at this time, that if they don't tackle and make us earn and have long drives, this game can get out of hand like Ohio State, Oregon. And he probably watched that game yesterday being like, that can't happen to us. That can't happen to us. So I think Denbrock's game plan is to be physical, especially in the run game. because that's what everybody's talking about. And we know Denbrock is very stubborn and egotistical. He will try to out army. So if it's coming to a physicality matchup, I expect us to see some heavy sets, multiple tight ends, maybe even 2 running back sets. And we ain't talking about Riley and Jadarian, maybe Jadarian, Riley, and Jeremiah Love on the field at the same time. I mean, we have nothing to hold back from reserving. You know, I get the whole running back by committee. Jeremiah Love touched the ball about 7 times in the game, and he's already wonderful, so it doesn't matter. No, I think we we use up our best players. This the game where the outlier, oh, he has 25 carries this time. Yes, because we don't, not that we can't spread the ball around, but let's take full advantage of our opportunity by getting into things that we know we can and getting our best players the ball more consistently. And I think if we use less 13 early on to get him calmed down and more everybody else, I think 13 will come on stronger in the second half. And that's where I want to see his impact. I honestly don't want to see Riley Leonard go crazy in the first half with like 80 yards rushing and 120 passing. And then second half you add a gas or you tired because you've been working hard for the first 2 quarters. What did we see from Scatterbo yesterday? Yeah, he was running hard in the beginning. But when it got to overtime, he's coming off after every play. Every play, it'd be little tackle, big tackle, he's coming off. So I think they wore him down. But that's what I also don't want to see from Riley, because I know Riley's a tough guy. He's gonna put his shoulder down on 4th and 1. He's gonna fight for extra yards. I just don't believe physically this is the game where you're trying to show you who's the tougher guy. Because I do think these moments are going to be called upon you to be special through the air. And if any year, especially this one, we have guys that can give you the chance. It's not like we got a bare cupboard. Is Bo Collins the number 1 receiver in the world? No, but I like his chances in the 50-50. Is Chris Mitchell a number 1 receiver like Jeremiah Smith? No, maybe not. But Chris Mitchell, if he in the right looks, he get behind somebody, I can't tell the difference. So Riley Leonard, and then you got,
like you say, I would like to object. You can eliminate the maybe. That's all I.
Okay, yeah, that's right. And then you got your in between guys. The in between guy, your Jordan Faisons for the dump offs, your Jordan Greathouses, your Jaden Greathouses with the little in between drags and overs and little routes right there. This is a game. If I'm Riley, I'm trusting everybody else to make my plays bigger. Right? Take my 5-yard pass to the next level.
Lucky Lefty podcast. They trying to show you love. First of all, we want to reiterate the bet was not how many games Alabama was going to lose for the year. The bet was Alabama was going to lose 5 games in the SEC in the regular season. They lost 3. Want to make sure. The bowl game against Michigan had no effect on the bet. The bet was over at the end of the year. And as Left would say, you can blame Georgia and Drew Pine for him losing the bet. Georgia and Drew Pine caused him to lose the bet. So, Kirby, I appreciate you for giving me that bet. I appreciate you. Lucky Lefty podcast. So while Left goes ahead, Left, I will say this. A lot of people in the chat are talking about Riley Leonard as far as Georgia attacking him. Ladies and gentlemen, teams have been trying to hurt Riley Leonard.
Oh, yeah. Like, Riley's not the single key to Notre Dame's success, guys.
Exactly.
If Riley Leonard said, hey, guys, this moment's too big, I don't want to play in this game, he would still have an opportunity to win. Like, I am fully in faith of that. We would still have a chance. Maybe it wouldn't be a blowout or another. We would have a chance to win.
Yeah.
So Riley being there, in my opinion, is for Riley to be special when his number is called. He don't have to be special all game. Give you a perfect example. The Scatterbo kid, he had to be special every single play.
And he gave you everything.
Every single thing. So, and he played great.
Yes.
We don't need that effort from Riley to win this game. We need him to play well. We need Riley to play well, but we don't need him to play like Scatterbo.
No.
That's what I want people to understand.
He was on some Red Hulk stuff yesterday. I thought he was Harrison Ford from the Marvel movie coming up. Like, yo, this dude is just transforming on the field.
I mean, perform. He's a definition of leave it on field. Because it's so funny. I'm talking stuff on Twitter. Oh, you think you running over these guys? No, there's levels and this and that. And he just never quit. And then he plays so well, guys around him start making plays. When they got the pick on Quinn Ewers, that was a great catch by the
man. He called up and tracked that ball. I thought he was the wide receiver.
I said, oh yeah, he got this team playing on a different, like Arizona State is probably a tier 3 team in reality. Just in, if you had to look on paper to paper, they're a tier 3 team. But it's because they have an ultimate belief. You know, you talk about that ultimate belief factor. They literally played like a tier 1 team in their own way. They were a tier 3 playing like a tier 1, and you saw it. You're like, there's no way these guys are doing this to Texas. And you can't point to what it is that they have over Texas because you can't name a lot. I'm not taking the head coach or the quarterback or the O-line or the defensive size or their running. There was nothing I'm taking Arizona State over Texas with. And I still believed in Arizona State. That's the difference. So, yeah, by every metric, Texas should have blew Arizona State out. But that belief factor is the difference. And I think we have that on our team. But the difference is we also have talent. So you got talent and belief as opposed to Arizona State just got straight full belief, confidence, and ready to die for it. So I think we have the nice mental going into this game. We've just played a game 10 days ago. It's not like we're a month away from playing like Georgia. We know, and we have we know our identity. I had an issue in years past of us not having an identity, but I feel like I know our identity going into this game. Or when in doubt, this is what we do to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
Hand it to 4 or 13. I think Georgia has many more questions to answer than we do going into this game outside of Georgia just being a championship that's just in their essence. So that'll come out. That'll just come out. That's why I'm like, we cannot keep it close going late. It's some things that you just don't know. You don't know. You know how you go in summer camp and everybody goes to the pool and everybody starts at the 3 feet. And then you got a couple people that got courage and knew how to swim from before they in the 12. But you ain't in the 12. There's a lot of space between the 3 and the 12-foot pool. But as you go to summer camp all the time, you get a little closer and closer, deeper in the water. Georgia just get to the bottom of the pool. Not that we can't go. We're good swimmers. But they just made it to the bottom. So we got to be able to say, how can we handle things when we haven't been there? My biggest thing I've said all season, what are we going to look like if we're down? What are we going to look like if we need Riley to score? What are we going to look like if we're a score ahead going into it late? We haven't had real football situations damn near since week 2.
Or if we're in that situation like Sark, ball up a score,
up a couple
7 minutes to go, can run the clock out. Are you gonna let Riley throw it? Or are you gonna try to? What do you? That's very interesting. I have no clue why Sark decided to go deep. Like
they pass happy people
because they have no run game. They have
no
faith.
They
no faith in the
run game. No, they said Quinn Ewers, do it, Quinn.
You have an offensive line on average 40 pounds heavier than the Arizona State defensive front. on
I thought it
average.
was 60. I thought it was 60.
It might have been 60. I thought I heard 40. Either way, left. That's like, why are we throwing the ball up a score with 7 minutes left?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Sark, that's Sark being an offensive minded guy. He's not a head coach thinking like, okay, let's get out of here. He's like, look, I'm trying to run these numbers. He's addicted. All that cute motion shit, he will always do that.
Man.
So I do think that will be their downfall, just like it always becomes their downfall against teams equal to or greater than, i.e. Georgia. Because even when he goes against Georgia, he just will not commit the run, and you have to do that to keep them dogs off you. I mean, Quinn Ewers is great, but Quinn Ewers can't throw it 40 times a game.
Hey, that 4th down throw was icy, though.
It was icy.
That was icy. Ooh, that was icy. And that was a darn good route by Golden, too.
Marcus, I mean, he's a player. That Golden kid, I would love to see him in some green and gold for sure. Like, he's nice. I saw something today talking about Jalen Milroe coming to Notre Dame. You saw that craziness? Oh, man.
That guy Jalen, a.k.a. I'm going to start calling him Frank Lucas. Well, all them furs.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's like NIL is crazy. I think, man, anyway, but I do believe that situationally, Georgia doesn't have a Stetson Bennett. So I'm not going to be like looking for this quarterback to surprise me at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to expect him to come out and start throwing for 300 yards in a game. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I know what they're going to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play control. They're going to be Will Howard. They're going to treat him like Will Howard.
And see, that's what you said about getting the ball to 13-4. That's all. When I said Ohio State dumbed down the offense, that's all they did. Like, you know what? We're going to get the ball to 4. That's the game plan. Get the ball to 4.
Put him in
early and often. That's it.
Let him run his corner, his baby routes, corner, post, and goes. Let him run that all day.
That's dumbing down your offense and simplifying your offense.
And Oregon never changed.
Our best player.
Oregon never changed. Dan Lanning kills me with that stuff because it's like, Dan, why did you not? You're a defensive guy, and just watching Jeremiah Smith have 100 yards in the first quarter. I mean, he's catching wide.
But once again, every team that played the week before had the lead early in the games, in the quarterfinals. Penn State played, they got out to a lead. Right? Texas played, they got out to a lead. So this is what I think Kirby is worried about. Like, when you're off, it's hard to come out fast. Like, cause you're trying to find your way, right? You're out there just you're trying to find it. And if Notre Dame could come out, hit them in the mouth, jump out to a double-digit lead.
That's what I'm saying. We got to be double digits by the 4th. We got double digits by the 4th.
Do your thing. That's what you want to do. That would be the perfect thing to do. But look, let me tell you something, man. I'm fine with the way the college football, and this is not me saying you don't need to tweak the college football playoff. I'm telling you, I'm fine with the way the 12-team playoff went. I think we saw the South Carolina, Alabama, and all that talk, trash. Shout out to my Illini. Bang, bang, Oski Wawa, Iski Wee Wee, ILLINI. They deserve to be in. So all the people that are trying to trash SMU, Penn State played a good game. And the SMU quarterback threw the game away early. It's as simple as that. Clemson put up a heck of a fight down to Texas. A heck of a fight. They couldn't win it. Ladies and gents, Kirby Smart didn't even know the name of Indiana. He thought Notre Dame was playing Purdue again. Kirby Smart knew Indiana didn't stand a chance against Notre Dame.
He really sat there and said,
I didn't know.
Matter of fact, I hope he felt like that, because that means it was less days for you to prepare. And if you really think at a championship level that you played at, that Indiana was going to beat us, then I don't think that you were I don't think you're telling the truth. I just don't think you're telling the truth. Kirby, Saban, Urban are some of the 3 best playoff coaches you can ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So to tell me in all your experience and scouting and football acumen and knowledge that you felt like you didn't know who was going to come out of Notre Dame Indiana matchup, I find that disrespectful Notre Dame.
One thing I will say, go ahead. I'm sorry, Love. Go ahead.
We played it cool. We said, hey, it's a good team. We're gonna go in there and do what we're supposed to do. But me and you both know Marcus Freeman in his confidant, in his in his confines.
Yeah.
When he's sitting at his desk looking at film, he's like, man, I may not be able to say it, but I'm not worried about this week. I highly believe we will come out on top this week. I'm not tripping. I may not tell the media, but I know. I think this week he's sitting in there and saying, hey, we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to hit on all cylinders. Because this is as confident as I feel watching this film. I just know that bringing Kirby into the game, there's going to be some things that I'm not going to be able to account for. I got you to adjust to on the fly. And you got the best staff to rely on. I think you can rely on a Mike Mickens, a Al Golden, a Denbrock, a Coach Rudolph, even a Biaggi, who's been a very strong force from a momentum standpoint for our team and having these special team plays and not punt return. Hopefully that changes. Maybe we do something like that. But from everything else, I think you got the staff of Marcus Freeman can believe I don't have to do it all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Where in years past, I think people would rely more on Marcus Freeman doing it himself, where he's like, damn, I don't even know all the ins and outs yet. So, Kirby knows the ins and outs.
Yeah.
Kirby gonna call timeouts and he's gonna have you, he's gonna try to freeze you, he's gonna make you think.
Yeah, this is funny because this argument came up this week with the Lions and the Vikings playing, being 14-win teams, and the loser of the game, the winner of the game, of course, wins the NFC North, and the loser of the game has to go on the road to play the Buccaneers, I believe, in the playoff game. And people were talking about how unfair that is. Man, Brandon Plessner, thank you for this comment because it leads into that and combines it with what we're talking about with the playoffs. It says, go ahead and just give the buys to the top 4 seeds instead of conference champs. Then Notre Dame can be eligible for that bye too. I love them home playoff games. Well, I'm going to be bitter. I don't have a problem with Notre Dame fans being upset with me because I'm looking at this from a business standpoint. All right.
Yeah,
business standpoint, dude, you don't deserve to be a top 4 seed if you're not part of this conglomerate that is the conferences. It is what it is. You see what we're trying to do with the mega conferences. Y'all want to be independent? Go ahead and be independent. We can't force you to join us, but it's going to come at a cost. That's business. That's business. That's business. And if Notre Dame values their independence more than being a part of the club and getting into the top 4,
because that means Notre Dame do whatever they want. They don't got to listen to nobody.
You can't have everything. You cannot have everything. You cannot have.
And then if we win doing it the way we want to do it, it's going to be
boss up. Then you boss up. Then you boss up. But Brandon, if you want to reseed after the first round, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't think you don't take away the importance of. Someone said this when they get in the NFL, you can't take away the importance of winning your division because you literally build your roster
to play those teams twice.
Play those teams in your division and win a division. So that means something.
Yeah.
You know, this year it just
gotta have guys.
It just stinks that a team that's going to win 14 games and have to go on the road for a wild card game. It sucks.
To a team that is like 3rd in their division or something crazy.
No, to a team that's like 9-8 or 10-7. The Buccaneers are going to be like 9-8, 10-7 or something like that. Right? Okay. Yeah, it sucks. But it is what it is. They won their division. They won their division. You know what I mean? Like, the Patriots walk to a number 1 or 2 seed every year because they literally played in the worst division in NFL history when Tom Brady was there. It is historically the record of the AFC East during Tom Brady's reign.
Uneven, yes.
Worst was the worst in NFL history. He played in the worst division. So do we like put an asterisk next to his Super Bowls? No. I mean, you play the games that you play. You know, so I'm not. Look, if eventually they might move to like just getting rid of the conference championship games. And if that's the case, then fine. But as long as the conference championship
that'll change college football at that point.
Yeah, it's like it means something to win the conference. And if you win your conference, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem either way, but I don't have a problem.
If Illinois won the Big Ten, y'all was 10-3 this year.
I don't think Arizona State deserved a bye to me. The way they played,
yeah.
And they didn't have their best player or their second best player, their best wide receiver.
Oh yeah, which is great. They didn't even have him, and they would still make him. So that's I have so much respect for Arizona State and what they did. Boise State, another team. Boise State had opportunities. They just blew the opportunities against Penn State. They had opportunities that they blew in Penn State territory. Doing special team stuff. They was really
they fumbled. Like you know, who knew Ashton Genty was gonna put the ball in? Like
twice.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. I'm not going to react to those games. And it's not unfair that Oregon had to play Ohio State. It's not unfair that Notre Dame has to play Georgia in the quarters. You lost to Northern Illinois. You don't want to play Georgia? Don't lose to Northern Illinois. Don't do that. And you're the 5 seed probably playing Boise State. You're the 5 or 6 seed, and you're probably playing Boise State or Arizona State. So, you know, just take care of business. The format now, it just puts you into a different atmosphere where you have to take care of business, especially Notre Dame, when you know you're independent and you're not part of the conglomerate or the club that they have. You're not. But that's the least of the worries. Notre Dame more than likely is going to have to play an extra game every year, the way it is.
Yeah, but we want that extra game because what it does and how it benefits us financially. I think we do give up the 4 seeds, but that it's almost like a position where it's another quote unquote bye because we don't feel threatened that we're going to lose that first round.
Yeah.
And if it's, man, I'm just telling you, it's going to be, we quote unquote got saved a little bit, but I can only imagine a weather being worse.
Yeah. Like Jason Smith said, you know, Oregon did it too. Or, man, stop. Oregon should have played Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State messed that up. That's on Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio
State because Ohio State was seeded correctly. They lost to Michigan. They were seeded correctly. That's seeding. That's seeding.
That was
Oregon
right.
should have faced Ohio State that second time in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State, if they had lost to Oregon instead of Michigan, they would have been seeded differently, more than likely. Or they beat Oregon, and now Oregon ends up being a 5 seed, a 6 seed. You never know what happens. You just never know what happens. I was like, yo, man, dude, you got spanked, bro. What does the seeding have to do with walking into that stadium and literally laying an egg yesterday? Nothing. Nothing. They laid a flat out. They were down 31-0 left. Was it 31-0?
34. I thought it was 34-0.
Come on, man. And we want to talk about some seedings? Come on, man.
Where else would you rank Oregon though?
No, I'm just saying, like, Ohio State, really, if I were to play devil's advocate, if you were Ohio State, would you have rather played the rematch in the Big Ten championship game or yesterday? Just think about it hypothetically. If you're Ohio State going up against Michigan, this is conspiracy theory because I don't think Ohio State wanted to lose to Michigan.
Right. I don't think they wanted to lose on purpose.
But if the consolation was to face Oregon in the quarterfinals of the playoffs rather than the Big Ten championship, when would you want to face them? In the quarterfinals.
In the quarterfinals. Yeah, in the quarterfinals. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's a lot of planning for you to think that.
No, I'm not saying that's the way it happened. I'm just saying by them losing,
if they won that game
them schematically against Oregon, because what they had prepared for Oregon, they could save it for the playoff instead of Oregon seeing it in the Big Ten championship game, and then we get a third matchup in the playoffs.
That's crazy. It would be the third time, right? Because they beat Michigan, they would have played Oregon, and then literally, the seeding probably would have been different though.
The seeding would have been different, but if they had seen Oregon again, now Oregon has the advantage of seeing.
Yeah. Now they have. So it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Losing to Michigan actually helped them schematically, and it helped them figure out, you know what, which I don't know. This just shows, in my opinion, this shows how slow Ryan Day is. It's not that hard to say get the ball to 4 every week. It's just not.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's not. It's not hard. Like we argue. Hey man, let me tell you something. You can talk about how smart Phil Jackson was. Phil Jackson, get the ball to Shaq. Get the ball to Mike. It wasn't that hard, bro.
He probably did more than that, though.
Get the ball to Kobe. It's not that hard, bro.
Wait, basketball a little different, though.
But I'm saying in any sport, you get the ball to your best player, bro.
Yeah.
That's
that's the strategy. That's the game.
Yes. It's not. What did Arizona State do against all odds?
Abused.
He threw the ball. He ran the ball. And that catch he had when he was elite receiver,
bumped him off a little bit. Yeah. I mean, this dude was going crazy.
Everything. They did everything but give him a jet sweep yesterday.
Everything but. Everything. I mean, that's, man, if you want to be a premier player on a team, you want that scatterbo position. That's the real Travis Hunter.
Yes.
That's the real Travis Hunter when they're like, man, we have found every way to get it to you in the game. I was surprised he didn't do punt and kick return.
Yeah.
But that wears you down. And he wasn't worth a damn towards them last overtime couple plays anyway. But I mean, shoot, you add a couple more players around him, you got something. You know what I mean?
Facts. So we're gonna get to your predictions. If you haven't put your prediction in the chat, go ahead, put it in. We'll get to it. Up next, Malik's 3 Keys, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey. He said this is gonna be a doozy. He said, Sean, save it to the end.
Save it to the end.
It's gonna be a doozy. Malik's 3 Keys, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey. How are we getting this dub, Left? I feel like you had to pull it up on the screen. Like, okay, let me get my teleprompter going.
The first point, which is I think my biggest point, is that we need to be up double digits with 6 minutes left. I don't care if it's 10. I don't care if it's 9 3/4. We have to be up by double digits with 6 minutes left. That's the first key to victory. So no matter what else happens in the game, with there's 5-6 minutes left on that clock, we got to be up at least 10. Because even with that, I still think it's going to be taken down to the wire. But at least from 10, there's a lot of strategy, a lot to think about, and a lot to come back from. And you have a lot to worry about then, because now you're like, we can't just score 3 plays on their defense. And it takes a little bit to get their offense off the field. So if we can play that strategy and be up 2 scores with 6 minutes left, we're going to win the game. But to be 2 scores up with 6 minutes left, these other points have to happen. So the first point that has to happen, Riley has to have his best game of the season. So our average for Riley is what? Like 130 rushing, 150 passing?
No, it's about 70 rushing, 150 passing, right under 150.
Riley's got to cross that.
Let's say 200 total.
He's got to cross that 230 pass mark for me. He's got to have 230 passing the football, 80 to 80. I don't want to say 100, but 80 80 to 85 yards rushing.
You talking MVP of the Sugar Bowl right now. That's what you're talking.
I mean, now this is what we're paying for now. Now, Jeremiah Love has to have a good wealth and share of the carries. But a 230, 3 touchdowns with 80 yards on the ground, that's money well spent. I think Marcus Freeman will be very comfortable with the results of the game if Riley Leonard can go out there and do that. Because that means that Riley Leonard's in control of the moment. He's making plays when we're asking him to. And he's ready to earn that money we paid him. So it's like he has to win MVP for me to be like, okay, the transfer thing made sense. And then the last point, defensively, I think the anxiety is we know what they can do with who they have going in there, but there's something that either we're not seeing yet or we have to wait for to adjust to. But because of how we've been playing all season, and with this team specifically, honestly, nothing should change. If anything, we should have the advantage because they have a backup quarterback. We're already cutting your points in half, and you don't have no receivers. Those are the 3 biggest keys right now that work for us defensively. So for us, let's not allow Georgia to play beyond what we know what they can do. I'm saying Georgia right now is a 17 to 20 point offense. I think if they're playing at their greatest, they're 17 to 20 points today. So if we can keep them in that range, then it's about can you beat us to 35? I think if Notre Dame gets to 35, we can say we won the game. I just don't see where Georgia's going to come up with 35 points offensively.
I don't see Notre Dame get 35, honestly. But
35 is the goal. If we got to 35, would you say we won?
If they get to 24, they win, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. But, I mean,
I'll take 35. I'm not mad at it. I mean,
but thing is, you can think of who 35 can come from on our team. You can be like, okay, Bo may catch one, Jordan Greathouse Faison may sneak in one. You got Riley get 2, Jeremiah get maybe 1 or 2 or 3 if he get more than 13, 14 carries. You can speculate. Mitchell Evans getting some action. You can speculate on where points can come from offensively for us because now you got 7 or 8 guys I just named, and Georgia going to stop all of that all game? Something to think about. But you think conversely on Georgia, who do you say is going to produce 35 points? Their running back group? We're if anything, we'll be more prepared for their run game than they are for ours. What receivers is capable of 2 touchdowns that Georgia got right now that you're just like, man, I can't. Against our defense, I like that. I like those odds. Is Georgia's offensive line so much more dominant? I think they will have some leverage, some advantage with us not having Riley Mills there. Then it goes back to, well, what's Georgia trying to do? You can't take the top off unless you're saying this quarterback Stockton is just that deal. Like he's just super accurate, put it on the money, rollouts. But there's too many factors in this game where I think it's more in our advantage than it's not. Didn't say that 2 years ago.
No.
When I'm like, we don't got a Brock Bowers. No. We don't got a George Pickett. We don't got a, at that time they had who was the running back? Big, strong, DeAndre Swift.
Bruh, they had, when they came to Notre Dame, they had Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, and DeAndre Swift was a true freshman, bro. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like that's when Kirby was like cooking, like, okay.
Yeah, Kirby like, I'm straight. I'm not worried.
Notre Dame had the ball with a chance to win still.
Still was not worried.
That's still that famous clip of your boy. Oh man, your boy Q coming across on that blitz pickup and just leveling them.
And you're like, because you're thinking, how did he even think to look over there? He just flies over there. The Georgia dude had no. I felt bad for the Georgia dude because he thought he was going to get a sack. He thought he was going to run in there, do a little sack celebration. I'm talking about.
When Q finally showed up in his peripheral and he couldn't stop, he probably was like,
he saw like, oh shit. He was like, oh my God, where did you come? Boom, wiped him out. So, but that's what I'm saying. Georgia doesn't have anybody. I'm like, man, if we don't get them, if we don't stop them early, it might get ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's get ready to get out of here, Left. Thank you guys for joining us. We gave you a quick show today. Sorry we missed you guys yesterday. Like you said, I was checking in on family when I heard about everything happening down there because I knew I had family down there in the area. And then the game started, and it was just like, okay. And I thought about coming on late last night, but I didn't want to do a show in a bad mood. Because I was in a bad mood. I was in a really bad mood last night. And selfishly, I just was. But thank you guys for joining us today. Let's get to some of these predictions. There's a super chat from Indy Milton fan Sean Left. What advice would you give Riley for this matchup? Hashtag BK has small hands. Hashtag we all know what that means. Hashtag Freeman era. Hashtag Left is Riley's biggest fan. Go ahead, Left.
Man, I wouldn't say anything. I would want Riley to go out there like another day to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
With the understanding of the moments that come are not moments that will come back. If you have a slot fade or famous slot fade and the look is there, you can't go. There's no going to the press conference and say, gee, Willikers, I bad feet, bad eyes, bad ball. It's just no excuse for it.
Yeah.
This is the no excuse for Riley game. I don't want to hear nobody caping for him. This is the game where we put him out in the front and let him lead. Show us what we paying you this money for. I'm not going to sympathize and empathize and give you excuses because, in my opinion, I feel like we could have been at this very point without you. At this very point. I already said we were a 2 playoff win team without you. So prove yourself right and me wrong by thinking that you coming here was just a parade for you to have a nice draft stock. Because Marcus Freeman, and what I'm hoping he'll say is, this is what I paid and got this transfer for games like this. Because I'm giving credit to Marcus Freeman. I think he's built this program up well enough to where this is where we were going to be anyway, regardless of quarterback situation. Due to the scheduling, due to the recruiting, where we are as a program in year 3 compared to everybody else on the schedule where they are. So I'm excited to see him play excuse-free football. There's no more warm-ups. You got all through the bye weeks and you've been through all the practices. You've even had 14 days for this game and an extra day. Don't lay an egg.
I don't expect. I will say this. I think I'm from Chicago, so Lev, I don't know if you know this. Ice Cube had a beef with Common back in the day, and
really,
yes, and you could bring this
on. Common,
yeah, and Common, because I guess Ice Cube had a problem with I Used to Love Her when he brought up the West Coast in the song. You know, he went out to the West Coast, you know, and Cube came back with a song, and then Common responded with a song called "The Bee in You." And I actually think Common won the battle myself.
Yeah, you drop a song like that. Okay.
You gotta listen to it. He you know, for him at that time, Cube was here. Common,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. How did Common even get to Cube stratosphere for beef at that time.
I mean, Cube.
But Common was beefing with everybody in Chicago.
Common has beef with he's beef with Cube,
with everybody.
Yeah, that's just what he is, right? But my point is, I think yesterday we saw, because moments like this push out what's in you. And I think yesterday we saw what Dylan Gabriel was really made of.
Yeah.
See, guys, see, you get into that moment, now we saw what you really made of when the pressure's on. I think what we have seen is what is going to come out of Riley Leonard. What you see is what you get with Riley Leonard. Yes, he is not the polished passer of the football. He's not Cam Ward. He's not Shador, but he's a competitor. He's tough.
Yeah, like I want to see what this level brings out of him.
Lead.
Yeah,
he's progressively gotten better and works at it.
Because he's always played from a position of like nobody's like looking to Riley to save us. Not that we're looking to Riley to save us now, but what is it going to bring out of you? Because this is the highest level of college football right now. How do you respond to the stage? Not so much like we need you to do something outside of yourself or see something that like I'm not expecting him to be
a playmaker.
Yeah.
That same thing, the quarterback for Arizona State. He was getting hit, but he was making plays. He just found he was making plays.
Oh, yeah.
Making plays. Just make plays. He didn't have his wide receiver. Offensive line was getting tore up. He just made plays.
He was running. He was running for his play.
Ladies and gents, Georgia's going to be coming after your boy. We already know that. Georgia's coming for 13.
Oh, man. I know.
They're coming for 13.
They're going to do that blitz where they put everybody at the line and send that linebacker screaming right up the middle. And Riley has no.
And they're going to do the cross linebacker blitz.
Cross line. They're going to. We already know.
We know what's coming.
We specifically remember it because of the Georgia game. I remember those specific blitzes, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why they knock teams out like they do. It's these
vintage
3 or 4 plays,
defense, bro. You know what's coming.
It don't matter who. You better have a plan for
it. And they're going to bring the corner blitz. They're going to bring the corner blitz at some point.
At some point,
they're going to come up like it's bump and run, and that corner is coming. You know, if you catch him in it,
you can have success. And the thing with Riley is this, and I hope he understands this. This is not I'm Riley Leonard. I can run around on everybody. Please try to stay in there and hit something down the field.
Yeah.
We saw what Milroe looked like versus Michigan when he thought he could just take off all the time. They was eating his lunch. Hell, we saw Dylan Gabriel.
He's so huff, bro.
We saw Dylan Gabriel eating his lunch, getting his lunch ate all day.
Parker says 31-17. Frank McCaffrey, 34-24. Notre Dame. Luke Breeding, 24-1. Michael Parks, 31-21. Jason Smith, 31-24. Luke again, 24-13. Mike S, 24-17. John Massey, 2017. Irish. Angelo 48 Bertelli, Notre Dame 27, Georgia 17. Irish Steele 28-17.
You know, it would be nice to see. It would be nice to see 24. The offense close the game out to beat Georgia.
Yes, it would.
It would be nice to see that. That's what I hope for. I don't want to see another put our defense in a position to win the game and all of that, only because this is a game where we got to press the button.
Mm-hmm.
You're not hoping and waiting for Georgia to mess up. We got to press the button on Georgia and say, okay, you gave us how much? Because you so afraid of us? Okay, we're going to go down there and win and punch it in. Let's do it.
Yep. Well, thank you for joining us today, man. You know what it is. Hopefully, well, not hopefully. I'm going to go ahead because I believe, life, death, and life is in the power of the tongue, and I believe to speak life today. So I'm going to go ahead and speak a Notre Dame 31-17 victory. Go ahead, love. Your prediction.
You don't think we can get to 30, huh?
You're being real disrespectful, bro.
Georgia Tech got to 45 points.
this ain't 3 weeks off for Kirby to plan, and this is not a big game. That was Georgia having nothing to play for. Georgia was already in the SEC championship game and had nothing to play for against Georgia Tech. Nothing to play for. And I just want to point out that they still won. That's all I'm saying.
I got us 32 to 24.
All right. Fans, enjoy the game. We see you guys post-game. Lucky Lefty podcast, as always. Make sure you spin it different.